now we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another gamey episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 505, recorded Monday, December 2nd, 2024. Tonight we're talking about the last You Pick the Flick of the year. This movie is Saw 2, chosen by The Librarian. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on this show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Randeezy.
I want to play a game.
Man, the bumps are just slow today. My app is lagging worse than just my finger it normally does. That's crazy.
Unbelievable. You're such a gamer. You're addicted to gaming. Did you know that about yourself?
Sure. I don't know. We're
You
playing
love
free
it.
association here today.
Love it.
Butthole. There we go. All right. Free associate with that.
Bob, you're addicted to buttholes. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? He's back, Stains, boys. It's been a while.
The
He's
man behind the mask.
It's your boy.
Yeah.
He's back. Thank God.
We've been recording in advance so much. Juicy were out last week. It's been a while since we had a normal show recording on the week it's coming out. All three of us. Nothing weird.
The boys are back.
We're back.
I know. The shows you guys released while I was gone were pretty good, but lacking some of that, special
Oh, you mean
sexual
that-
energy that I
You mean the
bring.
best shows of the year? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, yeah.
They just weren't horny enough, really, in my absence.
They weren't bringing the feminine perspective that I bring.
Just a bunch of men talking.
That horned up feminine perspective that I'm famous for.
Damn, says the man who's addicted to
Trying to
buttholes,
confuse
apparently.
me with your liberal biblicisms.
Buttholes. Big thanks to the librarian for picking this week's flick. We definitely appreciate the love and support. But we do have a little bit of housekeeping we need to jump into real quick here. So yeah, brand new month. That means our December poll has just closed. Misery did win. We're going to be talking about that next week, actually.
Whoa, classic.
But that does
one's
mean
been a long time coming.
Yeah, I know. We've been trying to do that one for years. So finally getting to it. But that does mean we have a brand new poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this January. And something we've been doing for the past couple years is the first poll of every year. We kind of create a grab bag of all the releases that came out the previous year that we didn't get a chance to talk about. And there's so many. We did a double wide poll for you again. So there are 6 movies to vote on here instead of 3. And they are Azrael, Oddity, Eczema, Red Rooms, Strange Darling, and Heretic.
God damn.
How are those
Was that-
numbers looking?
Okay, you went complete silent
Yeah,
on
I
that.
think
By
you
the
were
way,
so
Zoom
loud.
said we don't need to
Yeah.
hear this.
Completely blocked it. There you go. That
There you go.
How
You,
those numbers
you
looking?
pulled it in a little bit. And
Yeah.
So there's a couple ties here. So with 0% of the vote, we got a
Nah.
tie for last place between Azrael and Eczema.
Okay.
And tied for second to last, we've got with 21% of the vote, Red Rooms and Strange Darling.
Okay.
And then runner up here, we've got Heretic with 26% of the vote. And in first place, we've got Oddity with 32%.
Well, all right. Good picks.
bullshit on that.
I caught up mostly. I think there's still one of those I gotta watch for myself, but
Yeah,
really,
it's,
really good picks. Really good
Yeah,
movies in there.
it's like there's been a lot of like movies that I desperately want to see this year. Not as like we're going to talk about this in the wrap up, but like maybe not like a ton of like absolute untouchable bangers, but absolutely some good shit coming out this year.
Yeah.
It was tough for us to decide on these 6.
Actually, some of these that I hadn't seen on the poll ended up being some of my favorites of the year. So it's just like, I
Yeah.
haven't gotten to this
Awesome.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is perfect. Well, get your votes in before the end of December. We'll see what movie we're talking about this January. In other Patreon news, we're dropping minicasts every other Friday, dropping this Friday, December 6th. You got your boy Randeezy talking about a little found footage flick called Milk and Siri.
That's me.
Whoa.
Your boy.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for folks to finally talk to me about this, finally be able to have some conversations about this.
I gotta
thing.
check that out.
It's for
It's on
free.
It's worth
YouTube.
it.
It's on
so-
YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a YouTube self-release, and
Wow.
well worth your time. I actually
Yeah.
it's in my What You Been Watching, but I introduced my my sister and her boyfriend to it this Thanksgiving for their visit, and they had a good time too.
Nice.
It's a pretty crowd-pleasing little thing.
Yeah, it's heartwarming, fun for the whole
Oh, yeah.
family.
You know,
just
the warm side of the door stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's good shit
we're,
though. Yeah,
we're
definitely.
there, boys. Christmas season. Here we go.
I
Warm
know
side
it.
of the door.
We made
We're
it.
in it.
Now we can listen to it every day.
Now, here we go.
He's gonna
For the
find the
next month.
jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
You got about 20 days to watch 70 horror-themed Christmas films. Or
can
do
Christmas-themed
it.
horror
Where's
films.
that calendar?
You can do it. In other Patreon news, we got a brand new Patreon supporter. We got to give mad shouts outs to a big, gigantic thank you to RPC7408 for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show. And as is tradition around here, we owe you the straight chilling salute.
Slap me in the eye.
Is that a Nordic name or
I don't know. I'm sure it's initials and a date or something like. I don't know what it is. Or I don't know. But
Sounds
thanks
like-
RPC7408 for the love.
Sounds like it's from
You got-
Atlantis. I think we're finally breaking out there, out down in
Oh, yeah.
Atlantis.
they finally broke their silence to contribute
right.
to our shitty podcast?
They love our shit. They
Yeah.
love our shit.
I think it's our first AI patron. I think that's what's happening here.
They too are addicted to buttholes. As long as the check's clear, Randy, that's fine. So finally, this is the last bit of Patreon related news here. We are going to be reopening the You Pick the Flick tier
Oh my god.
Ooh,
for the
shit.
for the first quarter of 2025. And that is going to be happening Sunday, December 15th at an undisclosed time of day. You'll just have to check our Patreon website. If the tier's up there, go ahead and grab a spot. There's only 5 spots available for the first quarter of 2025. They typically go fast. So be on the lookout. Mark your calendars for Sunday, December 15th.
It's usually the
Oh, man.
90th minute of the 6th hour, I'm told.
Yes.
And also, all the-
90th.
All the tallies roll back. So if you haven't been able to pick one for a few months, you're back in the game, baby. All you
You're right.
frequent flyers. So
You're right, yeah.
just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, we should reiterate that we've been sort of capping everybody at 2 picks per year. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you've it's anybody's game.
Y'all are
since it's a
addicted.
brand new
Okay,
year.
we got to regulate here.
Addicted to butthole. Um,
Damn.
Okay,
that's all.
all right.
That's all we got for Patreon news. Do you guys have anything you need to plug?
No, sir.
Yeah, I do actually. I think I mentioned this last week, but there is an episode of A Cut Above which I am featured on. It's talking about the Platform 2. Our good friends at A Cut Above had me over for that. Tried to make Platform 1, didn't come through, but Platform 2 worked out, and we had a pretty good discussion about it. So go check that one out when you get a chance.
I think that's
A Cut Above
pronounced
Horror Podcast.
Platform Deuce.
I mean,
You're
yeah,
right.
Sure.
I know.
I thought you were gonna correct my pronunciation of A Cut Above. I was like, what? Where is he going with this?
And coot the boo.
A Cut Above.
Hey, cute to boo.
Turn into the Swedish chef.
My good friends at the coot the boo.
My good friends at Akutabooth have released a new episode.
Surely you know.
Sure, yes.
You know what I'm talking about. Don't call me Shirley. Check out A Cut Above everywhere you get your podcasts. And I think our house is clean.
I think so too. Now I just got to find where the fuck that bump is. There it is.
And have a delay. And I've pressed it now. You'll hear it in 10 seconds.
Boo.
A coup
It
de
is
boo.
frustrating. This happened the entire last episode, and I couldn't even complain about it on like I was trying not to mention it. And this time, I'm like, fuck it. Everybody's gonna hear my bitching now.
Fuck yeah. Fuck. Let's go ahead and get into the main event here. We're talking about Saw 2, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
There you go.
There it is.
Huh?
Box.
What?
Box.
Hmm?
The box.
You got a box,
I got it.
Bob? What?
It's the first 8 movies in one giant
Only 8?
Blu-ray.
My God.
Yeah, I
Where's
know.
socks?
What's wrong with me?
Socks.
Every
Where's
time
socks?
they release a new movie, they release a box set with all the
You
movies.
gotta buy
and
it
then
every
just
time, Bob.
go
You
to-
gotta buy it
Oh,
every
you
time.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. How else are you gonna watch these movies in chronological order? Because you gotta watch Saw, Saw X, and then Saw 2.
Of course.
That's
Socks.
this is the way. You gotta-
Socks.
Saw.
Gotta watch Saw and then Saw X.
Because they
God,
make
so you could-
sense.
That's
when you do
that's
that.
what that's
I
what
want
makes
somebody to
sense.
recut this entire franchise, including all the flashbacks, into chronological order,
Oh
and
my
let's see how
God.
it holds up. Can
will
we do
not.
that?
That's the real
Also,
torture.
who will? Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like it is in and of itself torture
Oh,
to watch through
God.
that entire thing.
Jesus.
We're all playing the game now. Game
Oh
of
God.
capitalism.
Fuck you.
Saw 2. This came out in 2005, which makes me feel fucking ancient, by the way. Holy shit.
Mhm. Well, you are.
You are.
Rated R with a runtime of an hour and 33 minutes. Written and directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, starring your boy Donnie Wahlberg, Beverly Mitchell, Frankie G. Your boy Frankie G. Shawnee Smith, Tobin Bell, of course, coming back as Jigsaw. Some other lovely folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. A detective and his team must rescue 8 people trapped in a factory by a man known as Jigsaw.
Oh.
Wow. I've never seen a
Um,
movie quite like that.
In a factory? They're not really in a factory.
Yeah, IMDb
They're
is
in a
lazy.
house.
And it's
That's
in
a spoiler, though. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
that's a spoiler.
it
they're
looks
putting in
like a
there.
house. It's got bedrooms.
It has a bathroom, a really nice one too, by the way.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's got a
It's
needle
nice and
pit.
big.
Every house has
Under
one of
the
those.
bed. See, I mean,
It used to be a
Look.
conversation pit, but they got tired of talking. Boys, I know we've seen this movie. We've seen this whole franchise probably multiple times. Would you recommend folks check out Saw, Deuce, Rain, DZ, kick us off?
This is only for socks heads. I don't know. The people who like Saw like this movie, and then there's the rest of us on the other end of that spectrum.
Cool. A very,
Yep.
very light recommend, I guess. Juice, what about you?
this is definitely the Saw sequel I've seen the most. I've probably seen this like at least 5 times, I think, at this point, which is kind of nuts. But yeah, I think this is the closest one probably to capturing that original kind of Saw feel. I feel like it's a decent enough sequel. I enjoy this original trilogy pretty good, and I think they work pretty well together. So again, yeah, if you like Saw, then I think you'll get a kick out of this one. It's not nearly as good, of course. But yeah, if you've never seen Saw, then you shouldn't watch it. So I mean, yeah, it's a sequel. It is what it is, and I think it does a decent enough job. So loose recommend, I guess. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
Yeah, I guess it'd be another loose recommendation for me. I don't think this is a particularly good movie, but most of the Saw sequels are like, dumb fun. You can have a decent time watching them. Like I wasn't mad at the end of this movie, but it's like it's not necessarily good. I have few good things to say about it, but it's a fun ride. So yeah, just chalk that up as a generally
A
very
lot of good
loose
things to say about it, but I recommend it.
recommendation. A very loose recommendation.
Oh man, it doesn't get much looser than that.
Yeah, not
I
even.
kind of hate everything about this, but you know what? Someone out there might like it.
You got 90 minutes. Just burn them. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Loose recommendation across the board here at Straight Chilling. We're going to be spoiling the shit out of Saw 2, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, did you write a plot synopsis for this? Blob. Hey, Blob. Hey, Blob. Blob.
You just motorboat me? Damn.
Hey, Blob. Did you write
Yes,
a plot
I
synopsis
did.
for those?
I did.
Please don't start.
I got it. I've already started. I'm always starting.
But never finishing.
Never, no. I'm not
Our alma
done.
mater.
Never done. Yeah, here we go. Here's the plot synopsis for Saw 2. Police informant Michael awakens in a room with a spike-filled mask locked around his neck. Billy the puppet on a screen tells him that a key to open the death mask is located inside his eye. He cannot bring himself to cut his eye and is killed when the mask closes on his head. At the scene of the murder, Detective Carey finds a message for her former partner Eric Matthews. Eric soon joins Carey in leading a SWAT team to the factory that produced the lock used in Michael's murder, where they find Jigsaw.
Oh my
they-
god.
They also find computer monitors showing 8 people trapped in a house, including Amanda, Jigsaw's only known survivor, as well as Matthew's son Daniel. A nerve gas filling the house will kill them all in 2 hours, but Jigsaw promises Matthews that if he follows the rules of his own game, his son will be just fine. Matthews tries to buy some time while they wait for the tech team to arrive and trace the video feed. Meanwhile, the captive group in the house listen to a microcassette that explains there are antidotes hidden all around the house. Gus ignores a warning note that they find, and he uses a key in the door that triggers a gun that kills him. The door then opens, and they progress down into a basement where Obi is killed in a furnace trap. In another room, Xavier's test involves digging through used syringes, but he throws Amanda in the pit instead. She finds the key, but Xavier fails to open the door and dies. The group talk amongst themselves and discover they've all been incarcerated, excluding Daniel, Matthew's son. Jigsaw then reveals all of his victims were framed by Matthews in various crimes, and he is corrupt as hell. Xavier returns to the safe room and finds a number on the back of Gus's neck. He realizes the numbers are all a combination to a safe. He kills Jonas and starts hunting the others. Daniel's identity is revealed as Laura succumbs to the nerve gas. Addison then gets her arm stuck in a razor box. Xavier reads the number on the back of her neck and leaves her to die. Amanda and Daniel eventually find themselves in the bathroom from the original Saw film. Xavier cuts the number off his own neck and then charges Amanda, but Daniel cuts his throat with a hacksaw. Matthews has finally had enough and forces Jigsaw to lead him to the house where his son is supposedly. The tech team traces the video, and they find Carey finds that the game has already happened days ago, and the footage is not live at all. The time for Matthew's game expires, and a safe opens, revealing Daniel inside with an oxygen mask. Unaware of Daniel's safety, Matthews enters the house alone and makes his way to the bathroom, where a pig mask-wearing person knocks him out. He wakes up shackled to a pipe and plays a microcassette left by Amanda, who reveals she became Jigsaw's apprentice after surviving her trap. She helped arrange this game and will continue on his legacy after he dies. She then appears and slams the door shut, leaving Matthews to die all alone. Jigsaw then smiles as he hears Matthews scream. Roll them credits.
There we go.
Boom. Good
Well,
guy,
boys.
Jigsaw. He's out of
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's fresh off his trip from Mexico.
Right. Where he was Robin Hood and he's giving money to kids and fixing their bikes and trying to call ambulances for people that got hurt in his traps and stuff. And now he's like, what I love, there's a couple things that I kind of ironically love about this movie. Like, so Matthews is a crooked cop and he framed all these people for crimes that they didn't commit and they go to jail. And then in order to teach Matthews a lesson for being a piece of shit, Jigsaw just uses them all as like fucking pawns in this game, and then they all end up fucking dying just to teach Matthews a fucking lesson. They get fucked over twice so hard. It's insane.
Like the core of what drives me fucking nuts and what we made like so much hay about when watching Saw X. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't kill anybody. He just like
Yeah.
puts other people in the position where they have to murder each other. That's all. Like, and themselves. Like, it's not even like it's not a choice for anybody but one guy. One guy's making the choice for everybody. Everybody.
Also, too, I don't know about those cops who got like their legs amputated
Right.
coming at. I've never killed
They're
anybody.
just doing their
They got
job.
fucking toaster ovened.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Fucked up. Yeah.
Never killed anybody.
He didn't even have to
I've
do
never
that.
killed
like,
anybody.
he
I'm here to
wanted-
help you.
Yeah,
wanted to
he
be
wanted people to
found.
come in. Yeah,
Like, why
he had
was
the
that
kid
even
in the safe.
I mean,
Yeah.
even Matthews in this movie, he's like, yeah, you force somebody to shoot themselves in the head, you're still committing murder, and he just kind of like glosses right over it. Like, Jigsaw is dumb as shit. I'm sorry, fuck Jigsaw.
I think
Well, he's appropriately sinister in this movie. Even at the
Yeah.
end, he takes pleasure in Matthews screaming and
he loves it.
and he should. And also
Mhm.
too, he breaks down. He's like, "Oh, your son, he's gonna be bleeding out of every orifice." I mean, this is what he should be, not
Yeah,
Sonic.
he's a villain. He's
That's
a villain.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
True, he's not quite the like the anti-hero that Saw X wants us to believe he is. Like,
Yeah.
He's a hilarious troll in this movie. Like when it comes to Matthews, that line about his son bleeding out of every orifice he has, and then he like laughs after he says it. And after that, Matthews calls his son's cell phone, and Jigsaw left like a voicemail recording on his fucking son's phone. He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you reached Daniel's phone."
yeah, he's a real cut up in this.
trolling.
That shit cracked me up pretty good this time
Dude,
around.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
okay, so I had like I don't know, this might be kind of putting the cart ahead of the horse with trivia, but like I've just found out that this movie was originally like it was adapted to become a Saw sequel.
Yeah.
It was originally something else, like where it got adapted quite a bit, obviously, because the whole conceit of like why they're in there and how they're dying and like all this shit,
Yeah.
like and how it all factors in with fucking Eric Matthews ass. That's all clearly had to be retrofitted in, but like it was like a bunch of people in a house picking each other off. So
Oh, okay.
and I feel like the core conceit was there, and it was written by the director Darren Bousman, right?
Darren Lynn Bousman. Yeah, he directed
Yeah,
2, 3, and 4, I think, like several of these.
and Spiral apparently.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like even when I saw this in theaters, this one really didn't work for me. Like I never liked this one, and it like there's some good traps, like some good trap moments. Not even necessarily good traps, just like the needle pit. That's pretty cool. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
brutal to look at. Like it fulfills what you want out of a Saw sequel in terms of murder and mayhem. The guy burning alive, it's a dumb as shit trap, but it's an effective kill. Like
Who would
um,
crawl in there? You know, like
who would
you know
crawl
you're
in
gonna
there
get
and start
Also-
yanking on shit?
And
Like,
also,
why?
who would not like? They're all waiting for him to bring the stuff out. I feel like they would be standing in front of that door. Like
Right.
somebody would be blocking that entrance, waiting
Yeah.
for there would be way like with their
Yeah.
hand
Put
out,
the
waiting
baseball
for the
bat there.
needle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Put the baseball bat between, like, up against that door, so it has no chance of closing. I would demand that if I was
Yeah.
crawling in there, for one thing. But Abby doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, the needle pit was the one that really like is seared into my brain. That's one that I can never really
Mhm.
forget. And then also the like razor blade box, because there's like it's so easy to avoid like getting stuck in that. And there is apparently a key on top of the box. Like if you freeze the frame,
Also,
can
too,
see
if you
that.
had your other hand, you could
Yeah,
use it to push. Yeah,
Yeah,
the other.
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're chalking it up to like the nerve agent getting to her or whatever. And
Sure,
I can get
Mhm.
down with that. That's fine.
Or nobody helping
like-
her too. If there was literally anybody willing, if they
Sure.
work together. Actually, most
Yeah.
of these, and maybe that's kind of the point too, is his whole. Yeah, you're not gonna work together, and that's their lesson. Had you just worked together, it would have been easy.
It
and
doesn't
followed the
even
rules.
seem like he gives a fuck about teaching them lessons though. It's really just Matthews' game and like if they die or whatever. But there's
it's like
another
incidental,
one.
except to keep the kid alive. Like that's the
Yeah.
only thing that
Part-
has to happen for his game to work. Sorry, go
Part
ahead.
5 or something is about working together, or
Yeah.
5 or 6. I forget
yeah.
what number. They kind of
It's-
bleed.
I think it's 5. I think it's
Yeah.
5.
Where there's
where
like
they
a
go through the
merry-go-round
tunnel.
thing and
No, that's
Yeah, God.
the one. No,
That's
no. That's
4,
that's
maybe?
the insurance guy. That's 6, Bob.
oh, okay. Yeah, they
But
blend
5
together.
is
But
about working
Yeah.
together. If
yeah.
everybody gives a little, nobody actually has to die, but everybody is like looking out for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the thing
yeah,
is, like,
yeah.
this movie is not. I'm just gonna like this is not a well written movie because the fucking guy, like, the only reason that they aren't working together, the only reason, like, the only person in the whole situation who is preventing what we're describing is the one beefcake dude who's just
Yeah.
running around like, "I'll do whatever I want." Whatever the fucking guy, like the aggro dickhead, is just the fly in the ointment for everything. He throws Amanda into the pit. He fucking like tells everybody to go fuck themselves whenever they tell him anything he should hear.
Yeah.
And like everything he does is fucking shitty and self-serving. And if it takes only one person to do that and everybody else is trying to work together, it seems like
Yeah,
seems
it's
like
unprovoked.
ma-
He's just an asshole. Yeah. Like,
yeah, and it's just like I don't know. It doesn't test anything. It just
no,
like
Yeah.
it doesn't.
You
I
know what
think
I mean?
it's also like one of the reveals at the end of this that like it's all like been pre-recorded and it's already happened and it's really just like if Matthew's game is so fucking stupid. Like if he just like sits at this, table for 2 hours like patiently, then like his son would just be right there. But he can't do it. He's a hothead. He's a crooked cop, whatever. But like the entire thing would fall apart if Daniel just happens to die in this house of murder that Jigsaw has
For
set
sure.
up. Like if something
Well, that's
like
why Amanda is
the
there.
ace in the hole is
Yeah.
Amanda, but like she's small and there's some big angry dudes in there that
She
could
gets
like
thrown into a
easily
fucking
kill
needle
him.
pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's not like
So,
there's
like,
nothing
it's
stopping both of them from dying. Like
if like the chances are he doesn't make it out, but I mean he does
Yeah.
obviously, and so it's like it's worth it. But like if this whole thing is set up to teach Matthews a lesson, it could have all been for naught. Like literally everybody could just die, and then he would have been like, "Well, fuck me," Like,
yeah, and then the
Yeah.
safe opens and there's nothing in there. He's like, "Oh shit. Well,
game's
I
really
guess it didn't
over
go as I
now.
thought." Like, yeah, like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well, I will say too.
Um,
So this one actually does, when it comes down to it, really Saw is going to be about the traps, and I also too. It starts off with the Venus flytrap, which I actually, when we did the recording for Saw last year, one of the things I mentioned is I was so surprised revisiting it and how like the traps weren't that great actually in the original Saw. You had the reverse bear trap and that was kind of it. You had the dude with the little candle, um
Yeah.
mhm.
and
The
really
razor
the
wire.
Off-screen kills a lot of them.
yeah, the traps
Yeah.
weren't that great. So I think that this one being the first sequel coming off of this really kind of did a better job there. It starts off with the Venus flytrap, which always in my mind is one that's just kind of like I don't know, it just sits in my mind. I always associate, or I think before we covered these, I associated the Venus flytrap with the original. Like that just kind of stuck in my mind.
Well, in the reverse bear trap are similar in
It's very similar,
shape,
yeah.
so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, the needle pit is another one, and then the razor arms is one that always sticks out in my mind too. So yeah, I mean, I think they do deliver on the traps here generally, which is what
I
you
totally
need.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, they've got a few that aren't as great. Like the guy peering through the eye hole as they whatever try to unlock the door. If that
Yeah.
guy just was not looking through the peephole, then it would just
Yeah.
be a gunshot that goes into the room.
And, like,
that.
who
Which
opens
also
the
could have
door?
killed his son easily.
Yeah, like there's a lot that can
Yeah.
go wrong here. This is not
Yeah.
mastermind shit. Like 99% of what gets Jigsaw by in this fucking movie is luck.
Yeah,
Like,
most of it's luck. Because the one girl, she doesn't die from anything except the gas. She just
yeah, she
Yeah,
just
she
fucking
just
dies.
comes. She just fucking dies.
Like,
He's
it's- for a
really
movie that. I'm sorry.
it's
go
a
ahead.
gamble. It's a pretty big gamble that this game pays off at all for old Jigsaw, and he doesn't have a whole lot of time. Like he's
Well,
basically on his deathbed, but I guess it works.
the thing is, like, if this was just like, it's technically positioned to be like this is Amanda's first trap is Eric Matthews.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
so like I don't know how much of this is her
That's
versus
fair, yeah.
versus whatever his name is, fucking Jigsaw,
John
whatever his name
Kramer.
is. Kramer, yeah. Like I don't know like where the split is. I don't know, but like Kramer is still like he's the master, she's the apprentice. You would think he would have oversight over the shit on her first kill. That seems to be how it would go.
He also set up like 8 other traps in advance before he died or some shit. Like
We'll
it's
get
all
to
been
those.
planned.
Yeah, my God, like this
We
man
gotta cover
was
'em all.
busy. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much. There's so much. Here's the thing, like about this one, like the thing. One of the things that drove me nuts, and you guys, I'm sure, noticed this too, was the way this is shot is like the most dated shit I've ever seen in my life. They fucking do fast motion so many times in this, and it looks terrible. It looks fucking comically bad. Then they fucking like show a SWAT van taking a turn at like 99 miles an hour. It's fucking ridiculous looking. The frame rate looks like shit. And people walking around like it's fucking MTV Scrubs. It's or I'm not Scrubs, not fucking MTV Cribs. Thank you. Scrubs.
Yeah.
TV Scrubs.
That's like that's
I
like a
don't want to
staple
scrub.
of this franchise is like that super like 9 Inch Nails like music video editing style. Pretty
I
consistent.
know, but like
with
it's
most of
not
it.
done well here. Like there's a difference, and I'm not sure I can pinpoint exactly what that difference is. I'm not a filmmaker, but I'm just like, there's something here that makes it feel comical and not exciting.
I
like
wonder
it's
if it's
supposed to be.
actually not quick enough, and that because one thing that's kind of funny about this too, I think it's enhanced or it tricks your mind with the sound effects. There's so many swooshes in here, like the you know,
Yeah.
and like, I think sometimes you're watching this fast cut, but it's actually like not that fast, but it's got all the sound effects of the back.
Dude, I'm telling you, you go back and watch that SWAT car, it is fucking zooming, and then there's like a few other scenes where people are just like walking fast, which at least kind of conceals, because it's like them walking up and then like a slow shot of them coming closer to the camera or something like that. But like just like I don't know, it seems seems like Neil Breen shit, like zooming around a corner, like it's terrible.
Those cuts too, where it's just like somebody's face, and then it goes to like a random picture, and then it comes back to his face, and he's like really anxious, and it's got the swoosh, it's whatever. It's
just like it's banking on your sensory overload triggering, I guess, and you're not noticing.
I think it's
stuff,
banking on you
like,
not really paying attention.
Oh, this is really intense. Holy shit.
Well, for doing that, they sure like they got to bank on that, because like is it like the story, the like all this stuff that we've harped on already, it just doesn't make sense for even a second if you like even remotely blow in its direction. That house of cards falls down.
Don't blow in my direction.
One thing that has always bothered me from a logic standpoint, which that's the thing about this movie, is you're right. It's not designed for people to pick it apart as we are doing. It is just an experience, and to like you follow up something in some kind of consistent way. But one thing that
it does invite that kind of scrutiny, I will
say. But one thing that has always bothered me is they mention it in the movie, and it doesn't make any sense. Where the big guy, he's like, when they get out of the house, he's like, hey, you feel that? That's plaster. This is just a house. It's not a fortress. And the only thing that he tries to do is break down the front door, which I guess is steel plated or whatever. But that doesn't. This is just a house out in like the ghetto. Like it is just a house. So if you tried to break a hole
into the ground
in a wall, like you've got 2 hours and there's shit everywhere for you to use. Yeah. You could tear a hole in this wall.
You could at least try it if you're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
like,
don't know.
I
mean, okay, the door, fine. But yeah, just try a wall. Yeah, what's he going to steel plate an entire condemned house? Like what?
I don't know, man. Like it's possible, but could at least show it to us. I'm more willing to believe that than the idea that just nobody ever tried it or thought to try it again.
It's just ridiculous.
That's
that
true.
They bring it up. He's like, well, this is just a house. Let's just break it down. And they don't try to do that.
They don't try to like block any vents or anything either, like, to stop the gas from coming in. They just accept everything as facts. Like this is just it. We've got to get the antidote. We have to play these games. and
Yeah.
get burned alive and thrown into needle pits.
Well,
and
granted
shit.
that like Amanda kind of pushes them in that direction, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, if it wasn't like that, like 95% of what happens in the house is just driven entirely by this fucking aggro douchebag just going around like yelling shit and hitting people and doing whatever the fuck he wants. Like I can't like really zero in too much on what the other characters factor in except for the kid and Amanda, which I guess is fine. Like it's not the end of the world or whatever. Like those are kind of red shirts and that's fine. But it seems like we have so much emphasis on this character and he is doing a pretty fucking bad job as an actor, in my opinion. It is not coming across.
Most
well
of the
in-
acting is a little rough in this, to be
Yeah.
Oh,
His
yeah.
in particular is so like so front and center though. It's like impossible for me to not be critical of it.
Yeah.
fair. Yeah. I love that the sort of the first breakthrough that we see in Matthews's like detective career or whatever is like he goes to the crime scene and he sees like the Venus flytrap thing, and he goes home and goes to sleep, and then he has a dream about the lock that says Wilson Steel on
Dude,
it, and
what
then
the
he wakes
fuck?
up and he's like, "We gotta go to the Wilson Steel factory." Like
Luckily,
Yeah, you could
that's what
just buy
Jigsaw
a
was banking on.
lock. Yeah,
It's
like
right.
from-
Yeah, you.
Nobody just buys a lock from the store. They
And it's-
they get it from the factory that they have set themselves up in.
That's
he has
clearly
prior
been out of
knowledge
business
of-
for like decades
Yeah.
too. So like, it's a
It
leap
is-
in
I
logic.
couldn't afford this lock. And luckily, I
It is
took over this
nothing.
factory, and it's just
This-
laying around.
fucking
It
Eric
still
Matthews
works.
ass.
And I knew it'd be a
Ugh.
clue, and that's why I used it specifically.
But Jigsaw wanted me to go there, so he specifically used
Yeah.
the Wilson. Like,
Wilson
because-
Steel.
it's set on a timer. I mean, I guess Jigsaw could have triggered it but it's the video is playing from another house, so they have to play it they have to like wait for the van to pull up and be like, okay,
Time it.
press
Yeah.
play on
Good
the
luck.
press play on the video.
Yeah,
it's time.
he's
It's
so-
Wait,
time to
rewind
press
it a little
play.
bit. Rewind.
Wait, the
Oh,
cops,
shit.
they just
Yeah,
got
the timing's
their
off.
legs fucking cut off. They're not gonna die though. I've never killed anybody, but we gotta wait
I've
for
never
them
killed
to
anybody.
get
I've only maimed them horribly.
It's just a lesson. They just needed a lesson real quick.
I'm sure they were
The lesson
crooked
is-
too.
Just a
Not
quick lesson.
first.
They're really happy to be alive now. I made sure of it.
Jigsaw is J. Walter Weatherman from Arrested Development, just going out there traumatizing and maiming people to teach
And
them
that's
minor
why
lessons.
you always
That's why
wear
Put the
your
milk
PP.
back.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It's very frustrating, this shit.
Just teaching lessons. You're right. He's the most sadistic version of Jay Walter.
Yeah, this is like,
That's fucking great. That's too good.
and
man.
that's why you always leave a tape recorder. I don't fucking understand this thing. Like, it's just frustrating because like so much of this movie hinges on Jigsaw being ahead of a move ahead, but the moves themselves are being played on a fucking nonsense board. They're playing checkers, chess, and Monopoly at the same time on a fucking life board. Like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. So like all that shit, like the twist, who gives a fuck? They could say anything. They could say it was anything. They could say that fucking Amanda was actually John Kramer after a sex change operation. They could say anything they
Damn.
want, and we would accept it just as willingly because it would make just as little sense.
People would, at that point, let's start like banning this whole franchise because of its wokeness or some nonsense. Whereas they praise
In
Saw
2005.
X because of the Robin Hood aspect of fucking John Kramer all of a sudden.
That still blows my mind that so
I
many
know.
people praise that movie. Because yeah, I mean, this is where it should be. I mean, again, it's very silly and it's dumb, but it's appropriately sinister. Like, he is a villain and people call him out on it. And you got a little bit of that, yeah, but they're crooked too, or they do it too, or whatever, which is bullshit. But I mean, I think it does a clear enough job of showing that that's bullshit. There's nothing heroic about this man. There's nothing good about this man. I mean, he's a serial killer villain.
Yeah, and consistently in all of the movies except
Yeah.
for Saw X for some reason. Like
Yeah.
it's, I don't know.
I don't
it's
know.
pretty-
I think that
it's
over
just
my memory of the latter entries is not great, but like I seem to remember like people were not calling him out for a while because fans love him, and they started ascribing to is like, yeah, he doesn't kill anybody. It's just he makes you kill himself. Isn't that intriguing? It's like, yeah, it would be if it was fucking true, but it's not. It's never been true.
I mean, you have a choice to make. I mean, I didn't kidnap you and drug you and put you in this cage
call
full of
bullshit
razor
on
wire. You did that yourself because you don't appreciate your life. That's
Also-
on you, bro.
also
That's
too
on
real.
you.
He's a bullshit artist. He's the
One
greasy strangler.
Oh God. One thing too is the very first guy from the Venus flytrap, he's killed for being an informant. So for
Yeah.
helping catch bad guys, he
Yeah.
is killed.
But he's a rat. Snitches get ditches, says Jigsaw.
Dude, that's his. I was like, wait a second, what the
It's
fuck?
nonsense, dude.
It's like
It's
the guy who
fucking
cheated on his
nonsense.
insurance or whatever, or
Yeah,
some guy
dude,
who's
like if I
smoking.
jaywalk, am I gonna wake up like with my innards on the outside? Yeah,
Dude, the insurance fraud is fucking
You
classic.
don't appreciate
Like,
your clean lungs, bish.
You should pay.
I saw you stole a loaf of bread to feed your family.
Oh my
It's time for
god!
you to be locked up for 90 years.
But he's a
Um,
hero. You see, guys. You see how that works, though.
He's a
Do
hero.
you see?
He's really saving
He's
everyone
actually
else.
pretty
That's-
badass when you think about it.
you gotta be a thinker though.
But you gotta
gotta
think about it. If you don't do your own research, then you're not gonna
Then
get
you-
it.
then you won't understand the movie.
Man, I'll tell
We're
you what.
digging
there's-
our hole deeper.
He's just
and
an
deeper on
alpha.
this.
That's the thing about it. You know, he's
Wrapped in
I
a
hope-
Sigma.
I'm dying to know what somebody who skipped ahead to this moment
it's
is
just a
thinking.
Sigmund
Um,
alpha, is what it is.
Hybrid,
Sigmund
with
Alpha.
very rare, the rarest.
Oh my god. Fucking
Oh my
dumb,
One in a
dumb,
generation.
dumb movie. I don't know. Like this is the thing. Like the Saw movies. This is where like there are entries to this franchise where I kind of like as a thrill ride. I actually find this one kind of boring, and I don't know if that has to do with how
Oh,
many
really?
times I've seen it or what. But like the things that I would latch onto, like what you're describing, Justin, like the somewhat inventive kills and like I don't know, like as dumb as the story is, at least a couple of twists that one of them probably catches you by surprise, even though they don't make sense. That's why. Like at least you get those. Those are like the hallmarks of a Saw movie: a twist and inventive kills. That's it. And this one does deliver those things mostly, I would say, but I still find it dull as shit. And I just feel like Saw the first, as problematic as I thought parts of it were when we reviewed it, is still like the only one that I have a lot of affinity for. I think I just don't think this
Yeah.
franchise works
Did-
for me.
I don't know if you guys can remember because I certainly can't. But the first time you saw this, were you surprised to find out Amanda was like his new apprentice? Was that reveal like did it get you?
I think so, and I also think too. To be fair to this film, I don't know. I'm different than Ray. Like I said, I for the most part kind of enjoy watching 1, 2, and 3. I don't think 2 or 3 hold up nearly as well as the original Saw, but as a trilogy, I think that they work pretty good because they're still self-aware at this point. Like, yeah, they're very cheesy and stuff, but they I don't know. It feels like they know what they are, and they don't really try to be they're not trying to be socks, you know.
And that's fine. I prefer that.
Me
Popcorn
too.
movie.
It's
Me
definitely
too.
preferable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say that this coming off of what Saw was and how like shocking it was, I think that this does a reasonable job. I think probably better than what I remember 3 doing. But I think this one does a reasonable job. Like, oh shit, they're in the original, Saw
The
room.
reveal that they're in that same.
Yeah,
I like
and,
the recreated
and you get to
room for
go
sure.
back in there and you get to see what happened to Adam. Oh, Adam actually did die in there.
Mhm.
And I think that's cool, which of course also fucks up Socks because at the end of Socks, don't they put another guy in that room as well? The guy who like tricked John into doing the treatment where Hoffman
don't
shows
remember.
up. Hoffman like shows up as
Lips
a
don't
stinger.
lie,
Yeah,
Hoffman.
lips don't lie. Damn. Lips don't lie. Hoffman shows up. I think they put another guy in that room. Well, so anyways, it's stupid, but I think that they did a decent job with this ending. I think it's sad satisfying.
There's
Yeah,
a moment in this one where Jigsaw's talking about the when he realized that he wanted to live. Apparently, after he found out he got his cancer diagnosis, he tried to drive his car off the road and he got in a wreck, but then survived. And then that is what made him value his life was that near death
He
experience. And I
survived it,
guess
yeah.
which I don't remember if they referenced that at all in any of the other movies or in Saw X or but I don't know that just like feels unnecessary and kind of weak. Like I don't think
No,
we
it
need
does
that.
because they give him so no, they do because they're in at one point his like wife comes into it and they give it
yeah,
some
Right, yeah.
and they
backstory
have
about
a
she was
methadone
gonna have
clinic or something.
she was gonna have a baby, but then some drug addict slammed her
Yeah. He's
stomach
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then the
yeah.
he
baby
had
and
no
then he
choice.
created a trap then or what so yeah, it's bullshit. It's
Yeah,
Just
complete
he
they
didn't
do
like.
not
oh
stick
yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
They
Yeah.
give him
Yeah.
like 12 origin points.
Yeah.
Little joker, baby.
Pretty much
It's
every
just
movie
fucking
has its
dumb.
own origin.
It's yeah, he's
Including
like he really
Signs.
is like he really does hang in there with the fucking Freddy Kruegers of the world because none of this shit, none of the canonical shit stays canon long. It seems
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Just
except for the first movie.
retconning the shit out of it. And we're getting a
Yeah.
Saw 11
Jesus
next year. I don't
Christ.
know where
It
that's gonna
is a
fall. If
sequel. They said specifically it's a Sox sequel.
oh God, is he gonna go to like another country, or is he still in
How
Probably.
are they going to
Mexico?
find
Or
like the entirety of these fucking movies takes place over the like a 1 year span? Like
I
it's
know
fucking dumb.
And he just
this
keeps
man did
getting
more
older.
in a year than we've done in our lives. Like
That's
Really?
true.
And all, like
that's true.
fucking dumb. And he managed to like get like what, like 5 acolytes of some kind to help him out. Like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, man, you are busy as shit. How
The
does somebody with
premise.
fucking chemo in his blood doing all of this shit without passing the fuck out?
Well,
Complains
it's
about
because
having bad cancer this whole movie, by the
he's
way.
a
It's
Sigma Alpha, Randy.
Also,
That's
could
why.
you consider the son like a survivor? Is he gonna be one of the ones that comes back?
I'm sure he will
in
be.
Saul
I'm
20,
sure he
and
will
he's
be.
one of the newest. I was
If
stuck
they
in the
find-
safe
you.
and my dad didn't give a shit.
My
Yeah.
daddy was a real motherfucker, and
John
now I need
Kramer's
to
my
torture
real
you.
dad.
I gotta torture you about it.
John
Teach you a
I
Kramer.
want to meet
lesson.
that dad.
Fucking
Rob's little giggles.
That was a giggle, man. Like consistently, Rob comes up with new and inventive ways to have a silly laugh.
That's the auto-tune version of my normal laugh. Fucking Donnie Wahlberg in this. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's like
Dude,
he's fine.
I mean Eric
He's-
Matthews.
Balls don't lie, Wahlberg.
Dude. I
Balls
can't.
don't lie.
I can't see a Wahlberg and not picture the Wahlburger logo.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just a
you got
nut
to.
sack.
Feeney?
It's just
Mr. Feeney?
Oh,
It's nuts.
Okay.
it's nuts.
It's nuts on your burger. It's nuts on your fries. It's nuts on your milkshake.
Wow, that's
Nuts in
that's
your
too many
mouth.
nuts, I would say.
They're all going in your mouth.
oh,
that
yeah.
Wahlburgers.
I don't know, like it's like this movie defies
Wahlburgers.
description in a way that like it, not description, defies like critique because it's so dumb that it kind of crosses an event horizon where it's like you have to turn your brain off. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, the dingy house, the setting works. I mean, I don't know what else like much to say about these films because like if we, the more we cover Saw films, that's what it comes down to. Talk about the traps, talk about the setting.
Yeah, yeah.
And does the plot ever hold together? No, absolutely it doesn't. Just from the very beginning, it never does. It never will. So,
There you go.
It doesn't. But
Yeah.
I'll say this then, but based on that exact rubric, there's like a dead zone period, I feel like, in this movie where like I think between the needle, like
you're
it just
right.
seems like
You're
there's a
absolutely right.
lull in the beginning of the third act where
It's-
we're like fucking Matthews is like ripping up papers, oh no, and shit like that. It's fucking not interesting, and it's not doesn't it seems like it's like trying to lay out groundwork for the finale or whatever, but it's just like a big dude chasing a kid
Yeah.
and like Matthews
doesn't even
beating the
need
shit out of
to.
Jigsaw.
Yeah.
It
he
implies like, oh, I'm gonna like kill people to get their numbers. It's like just write it down.
Yeah.
Just I don't.
They don't have to die. They want to get out too. You have the same goal.
Well, he
Like,
decided he wants to kill them because
Well,
he
their
saw the
competition.
picture of
Oh, that's
of
true. That's true. Okay,
Eric
that's
Matthews
kind of
and his
fair, I
kid,
guess.
and he's like a hothead piece of shit. Like that, I think they
oh,
do. Like
yeah, well,
there are things that do make sense in this movie. They're just like not bolstered by they fail to bolster them with consistent logic.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Daniel. Yeah, I mean, I think we touched on all the major things here. I do think like as silly of a villain as Kramer is, I think Tobin Bell pretty much always shows up and does a good job as
I
him.
agree with
Like
that.
Jigsaw is like entertaining. He always is. No
He's
matter if the plot holds
yeah.
together or not, I think he's
Aesthetically
solid.
he's great. I will
Yeah.
say this, like, and I don't know, I don't know what to ascribe this to, but like just seeing like he's so intimidating. Like his whole thing is like I'm a whispery, scary man, and like I'm gonna glower down at you and say some high-minded bullshit at you that's gonna freak you out. And then
Hell
Eric
yeah.
Matthews just snaps his finger, goes like fucking like he starts getting his ass beat, and it's like like he's kidding. Like I don't know. It was humanizing in a way that like Jigsaw
Yeah.
doesn't get humanized usually. And I don't mean in the way that he's actually secretly a hero. I mean in the way that like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is not like a superhero. This is like a fucking dude.
He's an old guy that is currently dying of cancer. Yeah, and like if you hit him in his face, he's probably not going to be able to fight back.
Yeah.
And Donnie Wahlberg, he does it. He does it. And then he gets trolled real hard and then dies. Yeah, I don't know. Any other things you guys want to touch on before we rate this?
I don't think so, except we get to set up the next two characters. I always forget that they actually kind of do establish two more characters that we're gonna follow in Saw 3 and Saw 4 and the other cops, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
I'm
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes on here.
Which
There's a
kind of
lot.
makes sense if this director did 3 and 4. It seems like he kind of was kind of planning it out, I guess.
I guess somewhat, yeah. And I'm sure, they
There were
churn these movies out so quickly. They were making
Yeah,
one
like
every single year.
yeah.
You kind of got a feel for the filmmakers, just everybody, the actors, the writer,
Yeah.
everybody. Like, it's tough.
And for a while it stays pretty consistent. I think 5 is where there's a huge tone drop or just like quality drop off where you're like, oh wow. Yeah, it was already cheesy, but it starts to feel like soap opera level production.
I
I
can't
think that's
remember.
5.
Yeah, either 5 or 6 is like super dumb, but like really fun. I think it's 6. 3D. I think it's 3D.
That's
3D. I think
7,
that's
isn't
6.
it? That's
Is that
7.
God, dude? I don't know. I
That
can't
is
keep them
7.
straight.
Dude, it's
Can't keep them
fucking
straight.
dumb. It's dumb. It is dumb.
Yeah, it's real dumb.
That's my
Okay.
review.
Let's rate this thing out of 5. Juice, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel?
Yeah, this is a hard one because I remember I think it was whenever soccer came out. Was that last year? Where I think I
Yes.
rewatched all of them again. And it's always this thing where when you're watching them together, they're kind of judged on this saw curve, like where, I know it gets much worse. And so by comparison, this looks better. But then also when we went and reviewed the original Saw, we were like, okay, in our minds, it's kind of better than it actually kind of is. And when you're reviewing movies every week, then you're comparing these movies to other actual films, like quality films. So in that way, I kind of go back and forth because I'm like, well, in the Saw franchise, it's definitely one of the better ones, and for me. But as an actual movie, it's not very good. So I kind of have to I think I have to find a balance there so I think I'm going to go in the middle of what I would feel. I feel like as a film itself, it's probably like a 2, but as a Saw film, it's probably like a 2.5. So I think I'm gonna go 2.25 and just say that it's it's a serviceable sequel. It's got some cool traps. It doesn't make a lick of sense. None of them do, but it's cheesy enough. And John Kramer is appropriately a villain, a clear villain. as he should be. And also too, it's just kind of affected by the time it came out. This is a very 2005 film. So, it is what it is in that regard. The editing is rough and cheesy and those things, but in some way it gives it a little bit of charm now 20 years removed. So, yeah, I think 2.25 is where I'm going to land on this one. Bob, out of 5, where are you going to rate this one?
Yo. Um, yeah, this is one of those movies that you don't want to think too hard about, or else it just falls apart immediately, like, like wet toilet paper or something, and it just fucking crumbles in your hands.
Wow.
It's
That's too specific
did you want that
to
visual?
not
Are
be
you
part
happy
of,
with that?
not be from true story in some way.
You like that? It's it has like one or two gruesome moments that are memorable, but when it comes to the traps, like as the franchise goes on, they do get way more, I think, creative and just better in general. The the like setup, the conceit of this and the reveal, I think they felt like they had to have a big like aha moment at the end because of the way the original wraps up. And I think that put probably just a ton of pressure on Darren Lynn Bousman to like come up with something. And I think he did okay, given that he probably had, a few months to take whatever script that he had already written and like convert it into a Saw sequel. That can't be easy to do, especially quickly. So I give him some credit there, I guess. Um, Jigsaw really banking on Daniel just not dying in this whole like pre-recorded trap is like definitely a stretch. And Matthews's game just being like all you got to do is sit here and talk to like this old man for a couple hours just seems kind of lame too. There's a lot of things that just don't really work in general. But it's okay. It's probably when it comes to like Saw movies, it's probably somewhere in the middle of them. Definitely not the worst, not the best. It's all right. I think judging this on like a Saw curve, it's got some pretty rough acting too, to be honest. But trying to like use the Saw curve here, I'd probably give this a 2 out of 5, I think. I enjoy John Kramer's trolling ass in this. I think he's got a couple really funny moments actually that I don't know if they're entirely intentional, but I got a good laugh out of some of the shit that he was saying. Just fucking roasting Matthew's ass. Like, your wife left you and your son hates you and he's bleeding out of every orifice.
So I have to kill a dozen people to make you suffer.
Just roasting his ass. And that's hilarious to me. So yeah, I'm gonna give this
And
2
I
out of
also
5.
banged your wife, so fuck you.
Just really twisting the knife on Matthews. Which, whenever Jigsaw gets his ass beat by Matthews, he's on the ground, he can barely speak, and even then he's like, "Gah, gah, game over," because he knows this dude's gonna fucking die. Like he's still barely talking. He's roasting his ass. So yeah, but 2 out of 5 for me, anyways. Randy, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think it's clear I don't care for this movie, and I've just like completing an arc that transfers me into just a Saw franchise hater. Like that's where I'm at with this. Like
The deeper
thing
we
is, like,
go, the worse it's gonna get.
like the more I have to confront this franchise, the worse things get. And I've always kind of had like an iffy feeling about it, except for the first one I always held up in pretty high regard. And I was like, yeah, and after that, I'm just like, whatever. Even when you guys like when we were like bachelors or whatever, and you guys watched through one year, I was like, I don't really need to do that. Like I don't need to go with that. And like just the more I find out, the more I dislike the way this franchise
That
is
was our
handled. I do
bachelor
agree.
lifestyle.
Yeah, that was
Marathon
what
Saw.
I don't know if I've ever
That's
seen
how
you
the
get the
ladies.
VIP room, but I've definitely seen every Saw movie. No, I don't know, man. I just think this franchise just really isn't for me, and I'm learning that for real this time around. And I understand like there are some good things about this particular movie that I would say like the needle trap is definitely one of the best, one of the most memorable anyway, if nothing else. The hand razor blade box thing is pretty inventive. The other ones are mostly forgettable, but like that's fine. That's still a better pedigree than most of these movies. The twist doesn't make any goddamn sense, but at least it was surprising to me the first time I saw it to some degree. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just okay. It is largely similar to the first movie where somebody in the trap is actually part of the trap. But you know, whatever. And then, but like Eric Matthews' kid being in a safe or whatever. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. And then John Kramer, yes, is fun to watch in this. He gets a lot of monologue time. He gets a lot of face time, which we didn't get in the first one. And it really solidifies his character as being like a fun character to watch, a fun villainous character to watch monologue. So I give it those things. But none of those things make it more interesting to me. I don't care to see this movie again. I'm not. This is not a rewatch for me. I don't think any of the Saw movies are, unless it's for this podcast. I maybe saw one day, but even that's probably I just saw it last year. I can give it another 5 years or something. Yeah, not a big fan. 1.5.
What did you give it, Bob?
I gave it a 2 flat.
Okay. Oh, damn, I went the highest.
You did.
Well, that's still okay. 2.25.
Fucking idiot.
Maybe.
Damn.
You'll
gonna
see
put-
though as we go. I remember all the Saws, and I think
Well,
it
look,
can go
nobody says
lower.
they
It
have
can
to
go
be
much
tiered.
lower.
It can go lower, and I can give a lower score. But you know, I mean, I think I gave Jigsaw a 1. I want to say.
I
don't
think we all
gave
did.
that.
Or no,
Yeah, something like
Socks.
that.
I think we all gave Socks like a 1 or something.
Or maybe it was Socks. One of them we definitely gave a 1. I think Jigsaw we didn't give much better than that, and that makes sense. This one at least invents a few things that become hallmarks of this movie, like John Kramer's characterization and things like that. So there are a few, and Amanda solidifying as like a mainstay.
Yeah.
There's some things in here that benefit the rest of the franchise, just not enough to make me give a shit.
Yeah, so that's gonna put our aggregate here at a 1.9. And yeah, this is the 4th Saw movie we've reviewed. We did 1, 2
Dude, we
now.
still got like 8 more to go though.
Jigsaw and Saw X, so almost halfway. But as is per
Hey.
usual, whenever you guys pick a flick for us to review, we encourage you to send over a voicemail or an email with your own thoughts and ratings. The librarian did send over an email, so let's hear what she's got to say. You got that pulled up, Juice?
I do. I will do my best to represent the enthusiasm going on in this email. Hey, gentleman. Thanks for reviewing Saw Deuce for me. So as we all know, I have a board certified diagnosis of Sawtism. I like that. But this franchise
Doc, we ain't scientists.
or movie is not immune to criticism. Some scattered and hopefully amusing thoughts about Saw Deuce. Here we go. Number 1. This movie needs a fucking power wash. Holy shit. The coloring on this movie is just puke beige. Damn. Number 2. The officer down ambush scene. Fuck y'all for that one. My shins hurt every time. Never killed anybody. That shit's ridiculous. Number 3. Donnie.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody. Number 3, Donnie Wahlberg, don't play a deadbeat father / shitty cop challenge. Oh, this one's pretty good. Number 4, the overall trap house. Please clap.
In this house.
In this house. Holy shit. So we started with the bang guy getting his eyeball shot. Then a guy gets incinerated, which is one of, in my opinion, more survivable Saw traps. Yeah, just to block that door. Just keep that door open. Also, too, yeah, I'd go through that fire to turn off the gas. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
The infamous needle pit, famously one of the first movie scenes that made me go, okay, I must look up the behind the scenes footage because how did they film that? Oh yeah, okay. Then the girly pop sticking her hand in the razor box, also survivable. Really, the start of Jigsaw's teamwork makes the dream work era. Yes. Finally, we finish it off in the bathroom. Find out it was pre-recorded, and Donnie Wahlberg's dumbass could have gotten his kid back if he literally just listened to Jigsaw and get the reveal of Amanda as Jigsaw's apprentice. Everyone pack it in, go home. After 3 viewings of this, according to Letterboxd, this is a solid 3 stars from me. Anyway, I love y'all immensely. Thanks for covering the sequel to the greatest horror movie of 2004. Whoa. Which will always and forever belong to James Wan and Lee Winnell's Saw. The librarian, they, she. Hashtag hard with soju. Damn. Thanks for the shouts outs there. Librarian.
Totally wasn't added by you at all,
Nope.
for
This
sure.
is like
That's
this
organic.
is one of those. This is one of those times where I get to feel bad about reviewing it. Honestly, you know, I know there are
you
people that love this.
curmudgeon.
I'm just incapable of enjoying
Fun.
watching people burn alive and such. You know, what's wrong with me?
You
In a puke
monster.
beige trap house. What's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
It
No,
is
I mean,
very
I'm glad that this
beige.
movie has its people, like everything. That like this, I feel bad, but I had to be truthful on this one. This is too many Saw movies that I've dissected on this show for me to like pull the punch now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We got
Thanks.
a long road
Sorry.
ahead. It's a hard
I know.
road.
We might as well
Yeah.
just keep going, you know? Just
Let's
keep
just
going
for the
till
next
it's going.
2 months. Let's just review Saw films.
I'm glad we're not doing that actually. Like,
Thank God we
sprinkle
got
them in, maybe.
Thank God we got Terrifier 3 to
Thank God.
Oof, gotta
I know
really
you
palate
specifically
cleanse.
are so
Thank
happy, Juice.
so much God.
We're
for
doing
that.
this for
So
you.
much God, many much God. Mhm.
Thank all the God that we get to do.
Christianity.
69% of
Terrifier
them, anyways. Not all of them. Let's not get crazy.
Oh man.
Thanks for picking this week's flick there, librarian. Thanks for the hilarious email and just your general support. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for counterbalancing us.
Let's jump into our Rotten Tomato segment, see what the critics and users have to say about Saw Deuce.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment of the show in which I'm going to have these folks guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Saw 2 on RottenTomatoes.com. We're going to start, as we always do, with the Tomatometer, otherwise known as the critic score. Let's see, there were 122 critic scores counted for this film. I'm going to start with Bob tonight. Bob, why don't you kick us off? Well, out of those 122, what do you think is the percentage of positive scores?
I don't think this is going to be particularly high. I can't remember what Saw was, but I don't even think that was like crazy high.
Devin Saw was?
Yes, the Saw was. What Saw was? Yeah, this is not a critical darling by any means. This is a silly, gory popcorn flick. So I'm gonna take I'll take a 38, please.
38. All right. I love a random number in these. Soju, welcome back to the fold. Let's see if you're rusty or you're on point here. What are you gonna go with?
Oh, Rusty Justy. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a race to the bottom for all these Saw films following up.
Sure
So
feels like it.
yeah, it really is hard to gauge where it's like how high it goes. But yeah, it's not going to be. I agree with Bob. It's going to be less than 50%. I feel pretty confident in that. So maybe I'll just take the under and go with the, what'd you say, Bob? 46, 45?
38.
Oh, 38. Oh shit. Oh, that's pretty low. Fuck. 30. I'll go 30.
30. All right. Well, quick math here reveals that somebody in this room correctly guessed the exact percentage. The correct answer of the percentage of positive scores for this film from the critics is 38%. Bob's going to walk
Oh,
Damn.
never even had a shot. Rusty Busty
Never.
Justy
Ringy
over here.
dingy. Woo.
Nice use of the random number pull, man. That was a good one.
Damn, yeah. Whoa.
Well, some people call that a hell skeet.
Those some people are the two of you exclusively.
There's two of us.
Some people, yeah, some, not all,
Some.
just some.
I'm one. You're one. That's some.
That
Um,
is some. Damn.
All right, we're gonna move now over to the the poopometer, the popcornometer, aka the user score. There are 250,000 plus ratings from the users on Rotten Tomatoes for this film. Going in reverse order, Juice, you get first bite at the apple here this time. 250,000 plus. What percentage do you think are positive?
Ooh, not good. Not good, Randy. But I don't know. This is going to be hard to gauge as well. I think it's going to be close. I'll go with the 40%.
40%. Okay. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like with a sample size that large, it probably would go up a bit, but like how much? I don't want to be too generous. I'll take
Rob's not
I'll
known to be a
take
generous
a,
man, so
He's not.
I do
he's a
love a
ruthless
generous
son of a
man.
bitch.
That's right. I'm a taker.
damn.
I'll take a speaking of taking, I'll take a 43.
43. Okay. I'm shocked you didn't go for a 42, so there was a chance of the middle option, but
I'm over that, Randy.
oh, okay.
No more
that phase
ties.
is done.
I want it all.
Ringy dings or nothing.
Well, the good news is you would not have gotten that because this is what, like 16? Yeah,
Oh
16
shit.
points off.
Oh, I thought you said like 16%.
No. I'm sorry. I was calculating still.
Gotcha.
16 percentage points off from the correct answer, which is 59%.
Oh
Bob's gonna take this.
no! Why did I even
Wow.
come back?
Just leave again.
I'm
Damn,
out of
that's-
here.
That's surprisingly high, to be honest, though. That's
Yeah, that is.
I mean,
pretty
not that.
high.
This is the second entry into a warts and all beloved franchise of schlocky movies. I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
People like this one.
Oh,
Like,
whatever,
it's not like Saw
Randy.
6 where a lot of people didn't even get there. Like, this is Saw 2.
Yeah, but you
Randy
still have to review it
Tomatoes.
positively. Ugh,
I
yeah.
know that's true, but I'm just saying. I think this movie clearly has its supporters. Like, it was chosen by the librarian for that very reason.
Ugh,
Rusty, busty, justy this week.
might as well just leave.
I don't know why that
I'm
sounds
so
so
ru-
filthy.
I'm so rusty and also busty, but
I'm a rusty, busty lad.
That does sound heinous.
Ooh. All right, let's read the critics' consensus. It reads as follows. Saw 2 is likely to please the gore-happy fans of the original, though it may be too gruesome for those not familiar with the first film's premise. Who stumbles into Saw 2
Saw 2.
blindly? That's a mistake. That's like watching Home Alone 2 blindly. It doesn't... What?
that would be more appropriate.
That would be
It
fine.
actually
yeah.
does make more sense because
It
that does
definitely-
kind of... It can stand alone, but this one cannot. I
He's in New
guess.
York or Chicago. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
it's the same movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, very dumb, very silly shit. Let's read a negative review real quick, real quick, and just see what it has to say. This one's from a user though. It's an extremely crude film where the characters have worm-like minds. They completely stray from the action that a real person would take. It's a terrible sequel with even worse actors and a worse script. I love the worm-like minds line.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Roasted.
All right. I know we got a timeline to keep here, so why don't we move it right along, Bob? You got some trivia for us or no?
Yeah, let's blast through some trivia real quick here.
It's totally time for trivia.
Boy, speaking of that syringe pit, it took 4 days, 4 people to replace all the syringe tips with fiber tips to make it safe to fall into. Thousands of them
Oh.
bitches. Thousands.
Fiber?
Yeah, that's what it says. I don't know. I guess that is fine to fall into. They weren't metal. They won't actually impale you.
Well, that's
Alright.
good.
Good for your
I
diet.
guess that made it safe. Yeah, you were just
It
shitting
looks
bricks.
so dirty.
It's not
does.
pleasant to look at.
No.
They shot 5 alternate endings. I didn't see if those were on the disc. I feel like they probably are, most likely.
Oh,
I don't know.
the whole point.
I
Which
know.
one
let
has
me just-
Jigsaw remove his face and reveal like a fucking Scooby
He's a
Doo
robot.
underneath?
It's Archer
Yeah.
style.
That's how it should have happened. Yeah, the original script that was then ported over to be a Saw sequel was called The Desperate, written by Darren Lynn Bousman. He'd been trying to make it for quite a while, and I guess it was very Saw-ish to begin with, so it made sense to just make it a Saw sequel. So they did that.
All right.
First week of its DVD release, it sold over 3 million units, making it Lionsgate's fastest selling DVD.
Oh.
This is also still in US and Canada, anyways, the highest grossing Saw film to date.
That makes sense.
Motherfuckers love this. Henry Rollins was originally cast to play the role of Xavier, but due to scheduling conflicts, he was replaced by your boy Frankie G. That would have been interesting, and
Yeah, that
maybe
would have
better-
been
maybe better.
interesting.
That would have been an improvement. He's not much of an
Yeah.
actor himself either,
He
but
is
I at least
not.
like him.
He is not.
Yeah, I just kind of like Henry Rollins. Yeah, he's not a great actor.
He's a
Last
particular guy.
last thing I got here, this was made on a budget of $4 million and it grossed 153 million.
The
Not bad.
cosmic ballet goes on.
Damn.
Not,
Yeah,
not bad at all.
Serviceable
Good
enough.
return.
Yeah. Yeah, short trivia. That's all I got. Let's go ahead and talk Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'.
Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a Cooter and why do we hunt them?
I'm back, boys. Back for hunting. Cooter's character type. Straight chilling exclusive. Specifically exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, are we gonna go through this old same song and dance again? John Kramer is the cooter
I mean,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
every
every
He's
time.
gotta be.
Forever.
I really want to point
Yeah.
like in terms of like purely like aesthetically or whatever. I for some reason zero in heavily on Mr. Beefcake, whatever that
Beefcake,
character's
all
name
right.
is. Just
Smug
I don't know, like
arrogance.
he's craving the knife. Like he needs to be taken out in this movie. And that is also a
Manipulation.
hallmark.
And pathetic.
Manipulation. Yeah, pathetically non-empathetic. I don't know.
He does cut his own
just-
neck skin off, though. That's badass. That's
Like a
alpha right
badass.
there. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
badass. He should be the next Jigsaw.
Yeah,
You're right.
Sure.
I
You
know.
should.
I don't know, man. The
Teach
whole
me a
thing, I
lesson,
don't know.
Xavier.
He's not going to top John Kramer, though. That's the thing. It's like John Kramer's the one actually doing it.
Yeah,
So-
and then you've also got
Mhm.
Amanda, and honestly, even Wahlberg could probably Wahlberg could
Pathetic.
probably get it. Smug arrogance, pathetic,
Mhm.
manipulation. He's like
Yeah.
setting people up,
Yeah.
so he hits all the same as Beefcake.
I think we just throw them all into a random decrepit
think
old
this-
house and see who comes out alive.
Yeah.
All right,
Seems
yeah, let's do
fair.
that.
Let's
and
put in
just.
Old sick man with the beefcake and crooked cop, and Amanda's got to go in there too.
Man, this is how we become the Cooters, isn't it? This is what's doing it to us.
I just want to see what happens, I just want to see.
I never killed anyone.
I
We're
assume
making
that,
them better.
I assume that they're gonna work together and become best friends. Actually,
if they
I-
don't do that, that's
not
on
on
them.
me. Yeah,
That's on
Hey,
them.
look, I'm just gonna swing my arms, and if you get hit, it's your own fault.
I'm gonna walk this way while
Yeah.
kicking the air, and if you happen to get in my path.
That's on you, bro.
we're living in a society.
All right.
Yeah, John Kramer is a forever cooter, and
Forever cooter.
essentially almost everybody else in this movie is at least a cooter light, if not a full-blown
Yeah.
cooter too.
Yeah, even
Wait.
that kid's kind of a little shit.
Yeah,
He's a little shit, but that might
He's-
not translate to cooterdom.
he's a
Maybe not,
fucking
but he is a little shit.
He also
He's
has a
little-
shitty fucking dad.
Get in this
so I don't know.
safe, you little shit.
Yeah, he's
Ooh, little
his dad.
shit.
Johnny
Like,
Wahlberg
what-
says.
Also,
he
that
said-
that kid is awake. Couldn't he like bang on the safe?
He's still like ill though. I think like
He
he's not
is.
really
Yeah,
awake,
from the
awake, is
gas,
he?
I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Probably fucked up. Donnie Wahlberg has this line where he says, like, your mom gets to keep custody and I gotta take you into custody. Just
I have a
bravo.
daddy kink.
Just
Oh,
incredible.
we know, Bob.
Just incredible. Let's real quick. We got one voicemail, super short one. Let's go ahead and get to our hotline screens.
Hotline screen.
If you guys are listening, would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got one voicemail this week. Curiously, came in from Coastal Cheese Company. Let's hear what they got to say.
Matthew McConaughey. Just smacked the smug right off him. Even my kid agrees.
Hell yeah.
So a mother and her
Was there
child
a
just called in.
prompt from last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
What celebrity has a punchable face?
Ah, Matthew
Yeah, it was
McConaughey.
Matthew
prompt-
McConaughey.
We
Yeah.
already covered your much fabled dislike of
Elijah Wood.
of Elijah Wood.
Thank
so
you.
kind of
Misguided.
that.
Gotcha.
Misguided. McConaughey though, man, catching
That's-
it from a mother and child here.
That's
yeah,
fair.
that's a new one. I
I could
guess
see
I could
that.
see it.
I could
I
see
guess so.
that.
Pretty smug.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good actor though.
He
Um,
is.
he
yeah.
is, yeah.
What's that Dazed and Confused movie where he's like slapping people's asses?
Dazed and
I mean,
Confused.
Dazed and Confused is a movie.
Or is it what's Fast Times at Ridgemont High? I think that's what I'm thinking of. Where he's got the giant wooden paddle and he's slapping. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody?
No, that is Dazed and Confused, but you're
Oh, it
thinking of
is?
Ben Affleck's role.
Oh, I'm
He's
just
the
fucking
one
everything
Who
up.
keeps getting older and they stay. The
Oh,
same
okay.
age.
I got
He's the
that.
cooter of that film.
Okay,
Did,
gotcha.
did you guys do any last week? Did you give
Last
any
week?
suggestions for punchable faces?
Well, Nicole called in, and I can't remember the actor's name, but he's the guy that was in what was it, Winchester, like the lead in Winchester, and the Pet Cemetery remake. You'd have to look him up. I'd have to look up what his name is, but that was one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And
his
really,
fucking
that's the
name.
only response we got. I had a hard time coming up with anybody, but
Timothy
names.
Oliphant was mine.
I would say the guy who was in that haunted pool movie. I mentioned at the time that I hate his face. He's
Wyatt
somebody's son.
Russell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wyatt- yeah.
I like
Fucking.
Wyatt Russell already.
His
Eddie
face
Redmayne
pisses me
was
off.
mine.
He's got kind of a punchable face. Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah.
If you guys want to call in with your celebrity punchable faces, hit us up at 904
Still
638
the meanest.
3231.
Also, too, that dude who's in he plays the dandy boy in American Horror Story season 4, the circus one where he's rich but he's like a serial killer. He's like a mama's boy.
Yeah, I know who you're
You
talking
know
about.
I'm
I don't know his
talking about,
name.
but I don't know.
Oh,
He's got a
yeah.
punchable
He's got a
fucking
punchable face. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
right. He's
Yeah.
a
I don't know why
smarmy
that
little
just
shit.
popped into my mind.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
really good one. I don't know his name. Yeah. Or if you want to do something a little on the brighter side of things, call in, let us know what you're doing for the holidays. How you settling in for whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. Let us know what movies you watching. You get a tree. You know, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let
What
us
are
know.
you doing
What are
right
you
now?
doing?
Tell me. Just
What
call
are
in
you
and tell me
doing?
what you're
I
doing
never know
right
what you're
now.
doing.
What are you wearing?
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
weird. Definitely call
Okay.
in. Welcome back, Juice.
Thanks, guys. Bring in that energy, you know.
That fucking
Yes.
horned up energy's returned. Woo!
This guy's spraying everywhere.
Rusty and unfortunately busty. Next week we're back with a new show. As always, we're talking about the winner of the December poll, which was Misery from 1990. Check out Misery. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, we're on all the social media. You know where to find us. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll pop right up. If you want to join in the daily Slack channel conversations, let us know on social media, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
I promise.